Hello and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. I'm Colum Coleman, and today we are reading from the Mabinogion. The Mabinogion comes from the 14th century manuscript, the Red Book of Hergest, a collection of 11 tales of early Welsh literature. And it is a Welsh accounting of the Celtic mythology and the legends of King Arthur. Today we will be reading from the story of Pwyll, Prince of Dyved, from the English translation of the Mabinogion by Lady Charlotte Guest. With that, let's begin. Pwyll, Prince of Dyved, was lord of the 7 cantrevs of Dyved, and once upon a time he was at Narberth, his chief palace, and he was minded to go and hunt. And the part of his dominions in which it pleased him to hunt was Glyn Cwtch. So he set forth from Narberth that night, and went as far as Llwyn Darwyd. And that night he tarried there, and early on the morrow he rose and came to Glyn Cwtch, where he let loose the dogs in the woods, and sounded the horn, and began the chase. And as he followed the dogs, he lost his companions. And whilst he listened to the hounds, he heard the cry of other hounds, a cry different from his own, and coming in the opposite direction. And he beheld a glade in the wood forming a level plain, and as his dogs came to the edge of the glade, he saw a stag before the other dogs. And lo, as it reached the middle of the glade, the dogs that followed the stag overtook it, and brought it down. Then looked he at the color of the dogs, staying not to look at the stag, and of all the hounds that he had seen in the world, he had never seen any that were like unto these. For their hair was of a brilliant shining white, and their airs were red. And as the whiteness of their bodies shone, so did the redness of their airs glisten. As he came towards the dogs, and drove away those that had brought down the stag, and set his own dogs upon it. And as he was setting on his dogs, he saw a horseman coming towards him upon a large light grey steed, with a hunting horn round his neck, and clad in garments of grey woolen in the fashion of a hunting garb. And the horseman drew near and spoke unto him thus: Chieftain, said he, I know who thou art, and I greet thee not. Peradventure, said Pwyll, thou art of such dignity that thou shouldest not do so. Verily, answered he, it is not my dignity that prevents me. What is it then, O chieftain? Asked he. By heaven, is it the reason of thine own ignorance and want of courtesy? What discourtesy, chieftain, hast thou seen in me? Greater discourtesy saw I never in a man, said he, than to drive away the dogs that were killing the stag, and set thine own upon it. This was discourteous, and though I may not be revenged upon thee, yet I declare to heaven that I will do thee more dishonor than the value of 100 stags. O chieftain, he replied, if I have done ill, I will redeem thy friendship. How wilt thou redeem it? According as thy dignity may be, but I know not who thou art. A crowned king I am in the land whence I come. Lord, said he, it may the day prosper with thee, and from what land comest thou? From Anwyn, answered he. Arwan, a king of Anwyn am I. Lord, said he, how may I gain thy friendship? After this manner mayest thou, said he. There is a man whose dominions are opposite mine, who is ever warring against me. He is Havgon, a king of Anwyn, and by ridding me of his oppression, which thou canst easily do, thou shalt gain my friendship. Gladly will I do this, said he. Show me how I may. I will show thee. Behold, thus it is thou mayest. I will make firm friendship with thee, and this I will do. I will send thee to Anwyn in my stead, and I will give thee the fairest lady thou didst ever behold to be thy companion. And I will put my form and semblance upon thee, so that not a page of the chamber, nor an officer, nor any other man that has always followed me shall know that it is not I. And this shall be for the space of a year from tomorrow, and then we will meet in this place. Yes, said he, but when shall I have been there for the space of a year? By what means shall I discover him of whom thou speakest? 1 year from this night, he answered, is the time fixed between him and me that we should meet at the ford. Be thou there in my likeness, and with one stroke that thou givest him, he shall no longer live. And if he ask thee to give him another, give it not, how much soever he may entreat thee. For when I did so, he fought me the next day, as well as ever before. Verily, said Pwyll, but what shall I do concerning my kingdom? Said Arawn, I will cause that no one in all thy dominions, neither man nor woman, shall know that I am not thou, and I will go there in thy stead. Gladly then, said Pwyll, I will set forward. Clear shall be thy path, and nothing shall detain thee, until thou come into my dominions, and I myself will be thy guide. So he conducted him until he came in sight of the palace and its dwellings. Behold, said he, the court and the kingdom of thy power. Enter the court. There is no one there who will know thee. And when thou seest what service is done there, thou wilt know the customs of the court. So he went forward to the court, and when he came there, he beheld sleeping rooms, and halls and chambers, and the most beautiful buildings ever seen. And he went into the hall to disarray, and there came youths and pages, and disarrayed him. And all as they entered saluted him. And 2 knights came, and drew his hunting dress from about him, and clothed him in a vestige of silk and gold. And the hall was prepared, and behold, he saw the household and the host enter in. And the host was the most comely and best equipped that he had ever seen. And with them came in likewise the queen, who was the fairest woman that he had ever yet beheld. And she held on a robe of yellow shining satin. They washed and went to the table, and sat, the queen upon one side of him, and one who seemed to be an earl on the other side. And he began to speak with the queen, and he thought from her speech that she was the seemliest and most noble lady of converse and of cheer that ever was. And they partook of meat and drink, with songs and with feasting. And of all the courts upon the earth, behold, this was the best supplied with food and drink, and vessels of gold and royal jewels. This has been an excerpt from the Mabinogion on Historical Humans Reads. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more excerpts from original texts, please follow or subscribe to us on your platform of choice. If there's a work you would like to hear, be sure to like the video and leave a comment listing it below. Thank you for listening.